Don't let this happen to you. I made the mistake of not securing my wires properly when I put in this solar panel array. So I'm at my off-grid cabin right now, and I've got this 4 kilowatt solar panel array, and the top 2 rows are one group and the bottom 2 rows are another group. So it's a 3S2P, 3 in series, 2 groups in an array, and it failed. Basically what I didn't do was secure the cables to the back, and what ended up happening is we had a really bad winter this winter. I mean, there's still 2 feet of snow down here below me, and my connector failed. You can see it literally just stripped off the pieces around it, and that's because we got really high winds and a lot of snow building up on the wires, and it actually pulled down on them. So this top row is not working now. I've gotten a short-term fix where I've just connected the 3rd row. So on this top row, I've got 3 in series, none in parallel, whereas this bottom section, I've got 3 in series, and I've done that twice, and I've joined them together with this connection right here. But you can see I didn't secure these up to the panels and keep them out of the wind, and now that's a major problem because I'm missing half of my solar array as far as power going down into my cabin. So luckily, because my Titan has 2 solar inputs, even though one of these solar inputs failed, the other one's working and keeping it up and running, and that's one of the beauties of over paneling. Now, I do wish the Titan had twice as much solar input, because then over paneling wouldn't be necessary and I could be getting a ton of power. But that's besides the point. It still has 2,000 watts of solar input, which is very incredible, and that's split between 2 1,000 watt inputs. So luckily, because I'm over paneled, I get sun early in the morning to be powering my system, and then sun late into the afternoon powering my system, whereas normally I'd only be getting it from like 10 to 3, those 5 solar peak hours roughly. Overall, the system is still working, but I made this mistake, and now I've got to do all this work to fix it. So I'm going to go ahead and get to it and show you why it's so important to have your stuff checked out. You may or may not have seen the video of when I put this in. I'll try to put a link down below or up here somewhere where you can watch that video. But I literally designed this myself. It's all treated lumber. I have no idea how long it's actually going to last. Hopefully at least 10 years. It's a couple years ago that I put it in, and it's been working phenomenally. It's very robust. It has had 0 issues going through multiple winters now, but the cables you can see are just dangling down here. And that's really the biggest issue, is I didn't take the time to finish the job properly, and I just have all these cables hanging here, and now it's become a big problem. I've done multiple arrays. I'll show you these over here in a second, but I would not choose to do it this way again, because the wood eventually will fail and I will have to replace it. So I'm basically paying to do more work and more expense later. I didn't know what I was doing back then, right? I was new to this, and I just wanted to get something up, and it works, but there are better options. Now, I had to run 400 feet of cable down to my cabin, way down there. My cabin's on the north side of a hill where I can't get any good sun. So I ran this 4-inch pipe all the way from up here, all the way down there, so that way I could get the cables all the way down easily. And that way, if I need to run more cables in the future, I could. And I will be doing that this year, because we're going to be upgrading the Titan system that's here at the cabin to the new Apollo system that's coming out. And we're going to be running 240 volt power up here. So that's going to be pretty awesome. Now you can see I've got 2 solar arrays over here. So I got 3 total. One there, that's the power for the solar generator, the power station. And then I've got 1 to run my well pump, and then 1 to run my air conditioner. And you can see here, these panels are pretty beat up. What happened is we had some people staying up here, and they came up to the top of this hill with their vehicle, and they actually ran into the solar panels and broke them, and I haven't replaced them yet. They were just there as extra, just to give a little extra boost for energy during the day, so I could put more energy into the batteries. So I need to take those panels down and get them off the array here. So the other array was installed with wood. This one here was installed with galvanized pipe and welding with Unistrut, whereas this one here was put in with an Iron Ridge ground mount system. Of these 3, the Iron Ridge is the most expensive and is absolutely worth every penny. I'm not sponsored by them. They've paid me $0, given me 0 things. They have given me nothing. Actually, I take that back. They gave me some carpenter pencils, okay, and a coffee mug. Other than that, this is not sponsored. My point is, I paid for this with all my own money, everything like that. this system was extremely easy to install, and I have another video about that as well. And it took 4 or 5 of us to install that array over 2 days, working about 8 hours a day. And this one took my father-in-law and I about 4 or 5 hours in a single day. Now, yes, that is double the amount of panels over there. Well, not quite double. There's 12 panels over there and 8 panels here. But either way, it's really simple to add another row here, and we would have been maybe taking another 30 to 40 minutes to have that done. It's very, very simple. You can see I've got an extra pipe down here on the ground. This is just a 3-inch galvanized plumbing pipe. And what really matters is the top connection here. This piece here is what makes it so easy. So I just drove this 3-inch pipe into the ground, put this T connector here with another 3-inch pipe, and then strapped on these rails right here with these other connectors. And it was really, really that simple. It was so easy, I would do it again in a heartbeat. This tiny little doghouse has the inverter for the solar panels that run our well pump. So deep inside here is our well pump, and that runs over 400 feet all the way down to the cabin. So we have a gravity fed system. This only pumps water when we have sun. And that's one of the things that I want to fix with making the cabin be 240 volt power this year. So we're going to be able to run power all the way up to this. So even at night, we can be powering the well pump if we need off of the battery system. And that's where you have this array set up. So these are 3-inch pipes that were put into the ground with concrete. And you can see they were just welded up top here to other 3-inch pipes. This was installed when we bought the cabin. And then we've got this Unistrut right here. And the Unistrut is just connected on this 3-inch pipe, and then you connect the panels directly to it. So it absolutely works really well. The most difficult part to find with solar panel installations is this connection right here. A simple 45 and a 90 would do it. But 45, absolutely the most common for general purpose use. But basically right there, if there was just something that could connect that at a 45, if you know of something, put the links down below. It'll help a ton of people. But that right there is all you really need to be able to set up a solar panel array on your own, very simply. And then you can get this Unistrut from Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever, and it's really, really easy to install at that point. So on my wooden array over here, you can see I've disconnected the top row. This Y branch adapter is still working, but the other one is not. And so you can see one cable hanging here and the extra cable hanging there from the top row. So this top row is getting no use at all right now. Now, luckily for me, the panels still have the connectors on them hanging right here. And all I actually have to do is get another branch connector. And then I can have this whole system up and running again. And then once the ground is not frozen, because some of the cabling is under the ground underneath the ice, once it's thawed out, I can pull that up and tie everything up properly to make sure that this doesn't happen again and that the solar panel cables are not just flapping in the wind and getting pulled on things. So make sure you do end up securing your equipment properly. That also includes your power stations. Make sure they are set up to where they're not going to get hurt, say in an earthquake, or they're not below freezing unless they have a heater in them. And if you want help finding what system is going to be the best for you, just shoot me an email to info@poweredportablesolar.com. And that's literally what I do most days, helping people. So luckily for me, I get to hike all the way back down to the cabin and come back up the steep, snowy, muddy hill and make this connection because I didn't do it right the first time. So lesson to me, make sure I do it right the first time. That's really what being prepared is all about. And I tell it to my kids all the time. Now my foot's in my mouth. So make sure you do it right the first time, right? Buy once, cry once. Now I'm crying twice. So I thank you guys so much for being here. Hopefully you found this helpful. Prepare for self-rescue. I'll see you on the next video.